Hi everybody, welcome back to the den. Thanks very much for watching. This will be my first video for some time actually. I've been pretty bonkersly busy with all sorts of other things, house being in bits and sorting all that out and so on, which is and also trying to keep down a full-time job, and I decided that joining the local lifeboat was a good idea. So pretty busy times for everything, so that's taken us off the boil a bit. But I thought let's start getting back into it. And I thought, well, what better way to start, because I've been really busy getting an interest in gathering up loads of scenery items from public domain areas for certain games, and also pushing them out onto some 3D printers that I've got access to. So one of the games that I chose was Gloomhaven, and that's why you're here, because it says Gloomhaven 3D scenery. And I know there's been a lot of things, but I thought I'd take the opportunity to show you some of the stuff. Now generally I've gone into Thingiverse, which is sort of like a copyright free area. People have mashed up different models and got bits from this and bits from that and made them into 3D prints, and I was always looking for scenery for certain games that obviously aren't commercially available for whatever reason, and see what I can sort of gather up. And as you can see there, that is the fruits of my labours to date. A huge amount. So I'm going to pull out a few bits and pieces. Got a copy of Gloomhaven myself, and I went through I actually haven't, it's not been played yet, so I went through and actually noticed that there was a huge amount of requirement for scenery layout and so on. So obviously there's a good need for all this scenery. Now what I've decided to do also is that sort of the 3D printing is not within the remit of everybody, and so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be printing off a lot of these. We're using them for end of rolls and things like that. So what I thought I'd do is like package them all up, put some packs together, put them out on Board Game Geek, and sell them out for cost and so on and so forth. So keep an eye out on Board Game Geek. Also probably put them up on Feebay as well, the old famous eBay. But obviously you have to take into consideration the usual eBay fees and so on. Anyway, let's without further ado, let's have a look at some of the bits and pieces that we've got here, and some of the real sort of things. They have some sarcophaguses. There is a couple of versions of this actually on Thingiverse, one with actually a mummy inside, but it's really good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some high-res pictures of the pieces on the video, so excuse me if the things are zipping in and out, but nice little sarcophagus there. Rock columns, they're really nice, as you can see, and very well detailed as well. And this is where the cost really comes into 3D print, especially if you want really good detail. I mean, it's scenery. Once it's been painted, you probably lose some of the detail and so on. And certainly for the game, I put it down to, I don't put it super high res, because, and put in about 20% fill as well. So they are sort of hollow, as if you wish. But so there we have sarcophagus, the thing. This was one that I put together for to the smoke and fog thing, so that will need some interesting painting going on. And then some of the bookcases have been absolutely fantastic. I mean, I'm not too sure on the set. I think there is only one bookcase, but there are some lovely different designs of bookcases available, and as you can see there's some fantastic detail in there to make your own bookcases, so they were pretty cool as well. And then we have chests, they're sort of like furniture chests, and they come in a couple of different sizes actually. Oh, that's the same size on there. Let's have a look at that. Like I say, I'm going to put some high reses in. So from a furniture point of view, let's have a quick look here. I'm going to find myself one. So that was a half size one, little chest there. To be honest with you, I think you'll just get the one thing in Gloomhaven, just the part. It's just actually, it's either that chest or it's that chest. I don't think there's a lot of difference, so it just gives you a bit of variety. So we can actually do quite a bit of variety on there. And before I move to sort of looking at there, some great little stairs, some fantastically detailed stairs with some lanterns at the side and steps up. Okay, some nice little sort of crazed paving. I know you can't probably see, you won't be able to see it on the video, but like I say, I will post some high-res pictures also on Board Game Geek of the 3D prints. So they're pretty cool on there. And then we have columns, selection of full-size columns there. So there's some nice columns. which are actually in the game as well, and there also comes with a broken column variety. Now I'm not too sure if there was two choices in the game, but certainly if you were laying out a scene and it had a lot of these parts, and I did actually notice, and I must do a full list actually, there is quite a lot of scenery items, and if some of the scenarios there's a lot going on for requirement of scenery. Doors. The only issue I have with the door, this particular one, I've actually got the 3D model to cut up, is actually they're not necessarily orientated in the right way. There are some other doors which are modelled more from the Fantasy Flight, from the zombie side type collection. So on those sort of doors that you got off those, they're sort of modelled off those. But these were sort of more down to the scale really. The door really needs to twist so that it matches that, because the actual part sits up like that and it's a sort of bit kilter off. So you know, if we can get round to it. The minor thing, absolutely. Treasure chests, lots of treasure chests in the game, and there we have our treasure chests, all nicely detailed treasure chests there, lots of treasure chests. So we're doing packs of them as well. Hot coals. Now, one of the things with the 3D printers that we use, they use 3mm filament, which is a lot, and sometimes get a little bit expensive to come by. Most of these models here haven't been required to use support material, and that's where a lot of the cost comes in, is when you need a model that has a lot of support material, and I'll show you one of the models in a minute. But this is the hot coals. We've gone to some black filament here, obviously no big deal because obviously you're painting them, but they come in 3 hex, 2 hex, and where's my single gone? I do have a single hex here, and there it is, the single hex hot coals. Okay, and I did start playing around with a slightly lower res fog, but I don't know, I probably won't drop to that level. That was on a 2. I won't. I think once a couple of coats of paint on it, they'll be fine. But and I don't know whether or not it shows up more with the black, but so the stuff that we're using, you know, we'll probably, in fact there's going to be a lot of orange coming through, but that shouldn't matter with the painting. So those are things. Let's again more book columns, and then on to sort of the rock formations. So we've got a number of different, there was a couple of different designs on the rocks. We've got the single rocks there, and we've got 2 hex rocks. We've then got 3 hex rocks. Let's have a look here. Sort of a pinnacle shape there. That's pretty cool. So it's some really cool scenery actually, and I think for this particular game it is an absolute must-have. Fallen tree there. That's pretty cool, and a range of traps as well. So now in the game, a trap is a trap, unless it's a pressure pad, if I remember rightly. Not played it myself. I'm sure somebody's going to. Oh, little stalagmites. So little stalagmites there. They'll sort of come on. But little traps. So we've got a spike trap there. We've got a bear trap, and we've got bear traps, and we've got pressure pads. Okay, so there's pressure pads in there. Those. So lots there. Let's have a look down here. So we've got bushes. That's the design of a bush. Okay, and that's the same one in black. Pretty much same detail. It seems to just show up a little bit more grainy when it's in black, but the resolution was the same as those, so no difference on that. The other thing as well is totems. There is a couple of totems in the listing. So there's the tall totems there. Okay, so tall totems and baby totems, little totems. As far as the game is concerned, a totem is a totem. So I think when I put some packs together, I'll be putting a large and small totem in, and a bit of variety going on there to clear out. Old nests, nice little egg nest there. Bit something from Alien, that actually. But there we have a little egg nest. And one of the prints, some of the prints that you get on thorns. There we have some thorns. And I mean, there are some variations on a theme, to be honest with you, but these are quite nice ones. I've printed some of the other bits. This was the eggs that came without the hex, so some of the models you can do without the hex. personally I like the hex because then you can base it and put some other interesting stuff around it, but some people might want that sort of more organic look. Fountain, little fountain there. I must have a research because I haven't played around with to see what sort of resin we can put in there to give the imitation of water. So nice little fountain, piece of scenery, an altar that features a lot in the game as well. An altar. Let's have a look down here. So I think we pretty much covered sort of the main items. I mean, so most of them are variations on themes, like I said. Different types of, I mean, that's the same level, but there are about 2 different bookcases. Oh, walls. Now we have a lot of walls, so we'll be doing a pack of walls, and there's one with the kink in it. There's a straight wall, and then there's a single wall there. So we'd have to have a look, but certainly I did these really solid actually. They're not really necessarily so I'll probably down it because I used a huge amount of material if you think about it on those. So they have the walls, which are pretty cool. So lots of walls there, and so yeah, there's another bookcase. Have we got shown that one? Yep, I've had that one out as well. Doors, pretty. Oh, gas. Yeah, here's the very last one from that thing. And I will check all the listing to make sure that we've got representation, but that's gas. Okay, so I think that's a trap. So you'd have to have a look, or obstacle or something. So like I say, I'm quoting out a thing because I haven't played the game. So, and all I've done is have a look over of what they've got. So I think it'd be a bit of an ask to put together a packs of the whole range, because it would be quite expensive. But like I say, happy to put stuff out at the cost. And one of the things I do need to mention, which I've tried a couple of versions, is in the game there is the tree. Okay, and here we have the rendition of the tree. Now this took a lot of print, and one of the reasons why this particular model will be quite expensive is the amount of support material. And for those of the people that aren't familiar with 3D printing, obviously it slices it and then it prints a layer at a time as it goes up. But if you've got things that have got overhangs, it can't print in mid-air as it gets to that point. So what we have is we have printers that have a second filament, that's, you know, the material, that put in a filler, and it will build up the filler until it comes to the overhang, and then obviously they've got something to rest the print on, the slice. The problem has been with the first version, for some reason it all sort of went skew-whiffy there. I think it's lifted off the board. That actually didn't lift off the board because I looked at printing it upside down. So to get this to work right, it had to be reversed and printed upside down, which is what this first one did. But for some reason the top of the print, it came out bent like that, so that was a bit of a waste. But that took a huge amount of the filler. Now, printing, strength-wise, is best if you can print layers like that in slices like that to build up, and this is a lot stronger. So there was a lot of little bits and pieces to this tree. So I decided that I'd print this version on its side, and it was literally encased in the support material, because everything's been supported on there, and probably, you know, used quite a bit. And there was a little bit of tidying up on the hex things, but I think the result is pretty good. Some of these models still need a little bit of tidying up when you get them. That's not too much of an issue. I mean, most of them are sort of 90% there, but some of them will need a little bit of straightening and filing and just, you know, general TLC being done. But that was the tree, which pretty cool little model. But once again, was took a long time. I think something like 20 hours on the current printers that we have to print that, and obviously the cost of the support. So it was an interesting one to go. So as you can see, huge amount on there. For you Gloomhaven fans that are out there looking for some scenery bits and pieces and haven't filled the thing, obviously what I'll be doing is pushing a lot of these out through the channels, and then printing up some more stuff. We'll be pushing out a video because we've been very busy with stuff for well, that was a column actually. That I'm not a big scenery painter, I'm only playing around at the moment, but that was a column for Kingdom Death Monster, and I did that one on a cheap little 3D printer that we have here. And these are some of the tasters for some of the columns and bits and pieces that we produce for Kingdom Death Monster. So there'll be a Kingdom Death Monster. If you're a proud owner of Kingdom Death, then have a look at the next the video in the line, bases and things. So have a look at the next video in line for an idea of the sort of stuff that we've been churning out for the Kingdom Death Monster. Anyway, I hope this is of interest. Hope it's given you some insight into some people who've seen the 3D models and wondered what they look like and so on. Huge range. I'm sure there's one or two pieces that I've missed out that I'm trawling through. One or two pieces that still need to be made, but I think the vast majority of scenery, like I say, check it out on Board Game Geek. And also, if you need to know a bit more, then please don't hesitate to contact me and I'll answer your questions. And in the meantime, thanks very much for watching. Hope it's been of interest. Thank you so much to all the subscribers out there that have subscribed. That's pretty cool. And I hope to speak to you, well, not speak to you, but be here for you very soon again. Thanks very much for watching, and goodbye.